Okay, I noticed something. But do really need to do anything about it?
Sometimes it's not about jealousy, and it's not about fear. Sometimes it's simply about noticing something and choosing not to make it bigger. A message comes in, a possibility crosses your mind, and instead of spiraling, you just pause. Not everything becomes a conversation. Not everything turns into a problem. And that, too, can be a sign of health. We often assume that a healthy relationship means talking through everything, every feeling, every concern, every possibility. But sometimes regulation doesn't come from processing more. It comes from knowing what not to feed with energy. This isn't ignoring red flags, it's recognizing background noise. The difference? Red flags feels like warnings. Background noise feels like noise. Boundaries aren't always loud. Sometimes they are quiet choices. A regulated nervous system doesn't ignore information. It filters it. It can tell the difference between a real threat and background noise. Red flags feel urgent, specific, repeat. Background noise feels like a single blip that doesn't form a pattern. When your system feels safe enough, you don't need to react immediately to protect the bone. You don't need reassurance on loop. You don't need proof. You trust your ability to respond. If something actually requires a response, you notice something a little odd, and your brain checks in.
Is this worth my energy?
And then you move on. No interrogation, no escalation, no late night analysis. Not because you don't care, but because you care without panic. Not reacting is an avoidance. Sometimes it's discernment. It's understanding that attention is a resource, and not everything deserves it. When boundaries don't need drama, it's often because trust is already present. Trust in the relationship and trust in yourself. Secure connection doesn't mean nothing ever happens. It means not everything shakes your sense of safety. You don't outsource your regulation to constant reassurance. You don't ask the relationship to come what your nervous system can already hold. That quiet confidence isn't detachment. It's capacity. Sometimes the healthiest response is no response at all. Not because you are suppressing anything, but because you are not threatened. When boundaries don't need drama, it's not a lack of care. Sometimes that safety shows up quietly, not in long discussion, not in reassurance, just in the shared sense that time is passing, and you are still growing side by side. That's not something you notice in a day, or even a month. It's a sign that your nervous system knows how to rest.